The relationship between rumination and PTSD in veterans exposed to war zones. As we know, post-traumatic stress disorder, or PTSD, can result after a traumatic event and affects approximately 8% of the population. Past research has shown a relationship between PTSD and depression. A common depressive symptom is rumination, which is a process of repetitive or obsessive thinking, which is very often negative. How this links back to PTSD is that individuals with PTSD often report troubles with ruminative thinking related to their trauma. Our study focuses on veterans with PTSD, some who served in a war zone and some who did not. Individuals serving in a war zone are exposed to combat, while those not serving in a war zone are not exposed to combat. Past research has shown that both atrocities and combat exposure are related to PTSD symptom severity. So the purpose of our study was to evaluate the role of rumination in veterans with PTSD. Based on past research, we predicted that greater ruminative symptoms would be present for the war zone vets as compared to the non-war zone vets. 13 war zone vets and 16 non-war zone vets were recruited for a larger study evaluating working memory training for PTSD. During this study, participants were given the following questionnaires. The Rumination Response Scale, or RRS, a 22-item self-report questionnaire that asked about the ruminative thinking process and about the presence and persistence of depressive symptoms. Participants were also given the PTSD checklist for DSM-5, or PCL-5. The PCL-5 is a 20-item self-report questionnaire that measures the severity of PTSD symptoms that are found in the DSM-5. We then conducted a regression analysis with PCL-5 scores as the dependent variable and RRS scores as the independent variable. The data is shown on Figure 1. Rumination scores for war zone vets were found to be significantly associated with overall PTSD symptom severity scores. The rumination scores for non-war zone vets were not associated with overall PTSD severity scores. Our results suggest that greater rumination is associated with greater PTSD severity in war zone vets compared to non-war zone vets. This could mean that rumination may play a role in the exacerbation of PTSD symptoms. Therefore, assessment of rumination and treatments focused on reducing rumination may be important for this population. A clear limitation for our study was the small sample size used, and future research could examine the relationship between rumination and PTSD in individuals that are civilians, in addition to these veteran populations.